Good morning, this is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And what you're looking at is multi-PSK. That's a software program that will do decoding of numerous, and here's all the ones that it'll decode of data that's on typically HF, sometimes on VHF. Such things as packet radio, that's the amateur radio operators use, and then they use all kinds of forms of data transmissions. There's a whole bunch of them right here. They'll decode CW, they'll decode RTTY. Now, I haven't used this program in a long time, and so I'm looking for inputs about this program, and specifically inputs about programs that will decode these weather faxes that are broadcast on HF shortwave radio. And we are now in the hurricane season, and of course, living in Florida, I'm always concerned about hurricanes. And the amount of information we get on the local weather forecast, it's kind of limited. You know, they only get maybe 3 or 4 minutes to update you on the weather. So I'm always searching the internet and any other sources for weather information. And you can go on, for instance, you go on the internet and get hurricane maps, the predicted route and severity and stuff like this. And the other thing you can get, and it's messed up now because I've switched between different programs, is you can get this weather information that's transmitted from these NOAA weather stations on the HF band. And there's if you do a search on HF FAX frequencies, you can get a listing of where these things are broadcast. And they're broadcast throughout the world, not just the United States. And like I say, I've kind of messed up this decode of this one, because when I switched between different windows, it lost its sync, so it's no longer centered. And I can come over here, let's see, right there, and we can shift it. We shift it about a half a dozen or more times and get it back in sync. Like I say, I haven't used this program in a long time, so I'm not proficient in decoding these HF weather faxes. The other thing, again, I need an input on is, now I just downloaded this particular version yesterday, and it's not a registered version, number one. So there may be some shortcomings or limitations because it's not a registered version. But the one thing that I used to have another program that decoded satellite pictures from orbiting satellites that passed overhead, and it did a great job. It synchronized, it would automatically detect the signal was coming in, so it works great. This program, again, multi-PSK, has those capabilities that I'm just not familiar with. So I know up here you can select synchro, and it will synchronize and wait for a certain signal before it starts decoding. So that's one thing that you can do. I just manually started this. The other thing is, which I haven't figured out how to get it to work, is to automatically save the file. Because what I used to do on this other program for satellites passing overhead is I would set it up and have it automatically sync and automatically store the image it decoded, and then I could just let it run. I could let it run overnight for a week or whatever, and it would capture all these images for me. Well, I'd like to do the same thing with this program, multi-PSK, but maybe those features are not available in the freeware copy. Maybe that's it. So if you have any inputs, you can direct me here. I'd appreciate it. Or the other thing is, Do you know of another program that will decode HF frequency FAX, just like this one's doing right now? I know one that's been suggested that I used to use a long time ago is, I think it's called CFAX, something similar to that, C something. And I looked for that yesterday, and it turns out it's no longer free. You get a 30-day trial, and then you have to pay for it. So I didn't download that because I'm not that interested in getting a program that just does one thing. Now, multi-PSK, which I don't know how much it costs now, I might pay for to get this feature and all these other features, all these other digital features. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'm looking for input from you, from my viewers and my subscribers, for specifically for software that will decode these HF weather bulletins, I'll call it, FAXes, and do it automatically. Like to set up and have it do it automatically. Maybe this freeware version of multi-PSK will do that. I just haven't figured out how. So that's the show for today. If you live down here in Florida or around the Gulf of Mexico or on the eastern border of the United States, or even on the western border of the United States, because the past couple of years they've been getting storms. We're in the season, and the hurricanes, they say, the local meteorologist says this year is going to be much more active. We've been lucky last few years. We haven't had even one come really close to us. So they say that this year our luck is going to run out and we're going to be inundated with hurricanes. I hope that's not true, but it's always good to be prepared. If you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.